he was using 10-foot tall poles. And they were 10-foot tall just because I've noted once there was one out and I was able to measure it. 10-foot tall pole, generally they would put, there's a ground thing that it slides into, and then there's like a right angle bolt. If you ever look at the bottom one that like folds it in, especially all these since they're drilled at every inch, these steel ones, so you can attach the bolt to hold the sign on through it. And so he was using 10-foot tall ones. And then I noticed he started using 12-foot tall ones. And then it started to become apparent that he was using two 12-foot tall ones at intersections. And I just was like, okay, this is a lot of pull here to hold up a stop sign and two street signs. Just in terms of what that cost would be, what it would cost for, I mean, you're installing two poles, et cetera, et cetera. So then going back and looking at the bills, you know, you can see here in the November one that pole went from 85 bucks, the 12-foot tall 2x2 to $165. That 3-foot anchor went from 40 to 60 bucks. That bolt went up. So, you know, the whole price of the assembly went up $100 just in the course of a year. So when you tack on like freight, which on the bills, I mean, one of those poles with freight turns into about $250. And so then I just was like, okay, well, that seems like a lot, blah, blah. Then I did some analysis with the 6 versus the 9. And then I just started wondering, what do other communities do as well? And so I went to Verona once and saw what they were doing. And then on the day when I went out and took a bunch of pictures, I decided to go and check out Mount Horeb, and they kind of, yes, these yeah, so like, and this was last year. So basically what was at this intersection was, before these were replaced, was exactly this same thing, but the stop sign was on a wooden pole and those street signs were on a round pipe, you know, that has an anchor in it that was down. But those, and that pole, like those street signs are probably like, those street signs are like 7 feet in the air, whereas those are probably 9.5 to 10, because that's a 12-foot pole that was replaced with. Whereas, and 12 foot's total length, whereas the other one, you know, it was like 10 with 3 in the ground, so it'd be 7. So I'm just sitting here looking at this going, why are there 2 poles at this point? Especially when each one of those poles now costs $250. If we're looking at cost savings, this seemed like one that seemed fairly obvious. So and then you have that at multiple intersections there. Then if you go down to the next one, like you know, and this is how this was designed. A stop sign on one side, street signs were down on the other. Same sort of idea, 2 12-foot poles. There are just numerous examples in there. Yeah, that's basically, no, you just drop the stop sign, because those,
yeah, I think before we get too deep in that.
well, I don't know what my proposal is. This was just more discussion,
no,
but
just on this topic, I'm following you on the size of poles.
okay.
We just got an email, I think, from the county saying that you can't put street signs on traffic.
You can't put them on county-owned signs. If they own it.
All right, that's one thing we definitely have to check into. I understand why they do not want to do that.
Right. So, I mean, I haven't read anything anywhere. I haven't done, you know, if you want to check into that, we can, but like.
I just know a lot of communities, I've not seen that on the news. Not seen it.
Like on top of stop signs?
Yeah, I've not seen that.
Oh. Oh yeah, down at the bottom. It's like they only do that. Is base. I couldn't find, the only place I found in Mount Horeb, and this is, we actually do it in the village as well. It's been done before. This is the whole entire neighborhood where Tim lives over on Continental and Hillenbrand. That's the corner of Bourbon and Continental. That's the corner of Bourbon and Hillenbrand, and that's back in the neighborhood. So I think what happened was that developer, when they did that, they did, so they wouldn't have to pay for a second pole. And that's absolutely, this is the new Viridian neighborhood out past the church, and that's absolutely what they did, because Jerry didn't install those signs, the developer did that himself.
Oh, that's Creek Crossing?
Yeah, that's Creek Crossing.
All right.
Stop sign with the names on top, and then the other one is just down where they did Laufenberg. So there are examples in the village that do that. And if you go down more, like that's even on Elmwood and Woodside, which where that one was, yeah, that one was because that street was done a year before the other half of the circle. Like, because Elmwood Circle was done a different time than that road that came down. And that's what was so weird is that one they did, yet if you go down to other sections on there, which were pictures.
Did you ever ask Jerry why we go one to two poles? I'm just curious, since they're all over the village where we were doing that. Is there a reason?
I don't know. That question I did not ask him. I don't have it. What I think he's doing is I think he's just replacing poles where there were poles without saying, hey, we could put the street sign on top of the stop sign and save a pole. He's just doing it like exactly, like if you go back.
Creek Crossing is a new development, so he was part of the developer's agreement on that and said, put the signs there instead of a second. But I'm just trying to figure it out.
I have not. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you go up to like that Venice intersection, it's kind of up a little bit. Yeah, I kind of took a lot of pictures of things.
Yeah,
you're getting there.
I'm just wondering why we changed.
I don't know. Oh,
I mean, it's a lot more work.
I don't. Yeah, see that is the corner at the opposite end of the Elmwood and Woodside. I believe that you saw where he put the street signs on top of the stop signs, whereas at the other end he chose not to do it. When they were both replaced at the same time. I mean, I don't. But that's how that corner initially was, though. That corner had a stop sign on a wooden pole, and then it had a stepper pole for where the street signs were. So he just kind of went in and replaced them exactly how they were. That's what he's doing. He's just replacing them exactly how they were. And I'm going, well, this system, there's an efficiency lacking in just replacing them exactly how they were. Why are you, and I think before at one time, long time ago when I was reading a bunch of stuff in the village, like there were streets that didn't have street signs on them. So at one time, I think these things were kind of just randomly done. Like they had stop signs on, but some streets didn't even have street signs on. I'm talking like in the mid 70s. That's why I think they just went out and just put the street signs in a million years ago. And they didn't think, hey, let's combine them. I don't know. Yeah. But that's just what's weird. So there's, numerous things like that just all over it if we're in the packet.
Well, I think if there's a legitimate question of why we're doing the second poll. I would like to know the answer to that. Because if we're doing it in parts where we're attaching them to the stop sign, and there's no legal reason not to do it, then I'm not sure why we can try to do it consistently throughout the day. So that part I agree with you on that. We do gotta ask why.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I think that's one that definitely is on the list to check. And, again, 10 to 12, I guess I'd ask Jerry why we're doing that. I don't know why.
Well, the village doesn't have one, but there is like we have a sign, yeah, like for like businesses, but there is. I went out and read it. It's a big document. I forget what it is. Forget what the initials were. I can send it. If you do a search on the site, you'll find it. But it is. And basically reading it, I believe all it said for this is considered with what we're considered an urban setting, like suburban urban setting. It sounded like the minimum sign height needed to be 7 feet, whereas for a stop sign, if you're out in the country, rural roads, it can be 5 because no one's walking next to it's basically so you aren't hitting your head on it. And so when you go to a 12-foot pole for a stop sign and you're burying 3 feet of it in the ground, then you're above ground, you only have 9 feet on to the top. And when you attach a 2.5-foot stop sign to it, you get down to, or you get down to, yeah, you get down to 7.5. So that's why, or you get down to 6.5. So if you put it in 9, so if you 6.5, so if you only put it 2.5 feet into the sleeve, then you get 7, and they're all really close to. I mean, if I'm going to measure, you're 7, some are like 6'10", to the bottom of the stop sign, but it's all like around that area. So that's why the usage for the 12-foot pole. So you get 2 feet, 3 feet in the ground, and you get enough to drop the stop sign down. But then it's just like you just drop the stop sign down 2 inches, and you just move that end cap from the street sign onto the top of the stop sign, and you don't have this whole entire other pole at that intersection. And some of them, like in the pictures, like the intersection of Valley and Church here, the poles are like a foot apart. I mean, they're like practically right next to each other. There's a picture in there. I mean, they are just like, I'm just, and I don't have any idea why that was done. I know with that project, the county paid for half the signage and the village paid for half, and who knows if that, whatnot, but I was just like, I didn't. And then there were just a few other examples, like if you, I don't know where. If you go up from there, or yeah, go up this way. Yeah. Oh no, down. So like right there, like this intersection is right over there. And I don't know, I didn't really try to do an analysis on like, could this be done cheaper? But if you, I mean, there's 2 stop signs facing inward. There are 2 dead end signs facing outward, and there's a pole for the street signs. I mean, that's 12, or there's 5 poles there. And I'm just like, is there any way to reduce 5 poles at this intersection? I mean,
brewery and, is that brewery and church?
that is Military and Church. That goes down.
Okay.
It's right up there. And I don't know if because it's a weird angled intersection, which might be, but I don't know if you need 2 dead end signs. I mean, I really don't know, but I'm just like, there's a lot of polage there.
But my whole point, the goals are up, so, maybe. Yeah, that would be the thing. But I do think the 2 poles and something.
So if you
pole makes sense.
so if you pull down, I mean, and I'll just no, yeah, downward if you want. Yeah, a little more. Yeah. So you're like, okay, if you go up, like there's the corner of American Legion and Julius, and that was just one, and those 2 poles are like 2 feet apart. And in terms of saving money, like you say, since they're up, leave them. I don't agree with that.
Not necessarily that.
All you have to do is move a. Right. Okay. I mean, well, you could remove a dead end sign there, take it out if you just want to have 1 dead end sign, and now you have a dead end sign and a pole that can be used somewhere else. Do we need 2 dead end signs on that road?
My point is, if we need one somewhere else, then you can pull it and move it over, but why take it down and put it in the facility building? That makes no sense.
Well,
Yeah, all right. It's just design. I would not take that out. I would say, why aren't we moving signs to the stop signs?
however it wants to be implemented. I just so it's like there's a lot of stuff here. You want to go down a little bit more?
Well, can we, I think.
Yeah. No, I just want to show another different example of.
Does everybody agree that we should look into that?
So if you stop there, with the bottom one there, you notice there on the right hand side there's a dead end sign there. Well, there's one there, and then there's one behind the tree. And I don't understand why the second one is existing, because when you pull onto that first one, this is right in front of the bank. This is out by the Lake Ridge Bank. Right. So when you come in, you put a dead end sign that's telling you that they're dead ends, but when you go around the corner, there's another one when you just saw one.
Well, isn't this one for the one straight ahead and the one to the one to the road?
Well, but if it's but that's where I talked with Seth, who's the guy. And on that sign, it says dead end, and beneath it, it says no outlet. And he said that they both imply different ideas. A dead end means the road dead ends, and a no outlet means that there's a road that comes off, but it doesn't go out. So because he's saying there's a no outlet, you know that there's no outlet from there. A dead end. I'm serious. That's what.
I'm telling you, 99% of the population doesn't know. I was a cop for 30
Right.
years, and I didn't know that. Tim, did you know that?
I didn't know that either, but that's what he started telling me, and I'm like, okay. Oh, I don't have any idea. That's just what he was telling me. I don't know. I was just saying that there again, I think that second sign off of Birchwood is redundant. If you have a dead end sign, no outlet on Westview, you know nothing beyond there is getting you out of that neighborhood. Why have a second sign?
I don't know, but I can tell you, as soon as you take it down, it's probably going to make it right.
For where?
But that's so the tractors and stuff can get on the
Street sign you're talking about? No, oh no, the last one you're talking about acre. Oh.
Yeah. I remember that I was like, that time for not familiar with much easier to on than six. So I remember that discussion when we started to replace the board of business. That was one of the biggest questions.
Yeah. Well, I just know other communities aren't doing that. If you pull down, I'll show you what's going on in I'll do it quick. I'll show you what's going on in Mount Horeb and Verona. Because they don't do that. They do it. Oh, boy, you want to go too far. Keep going up a little. This is like right where. So yeah, if you go up a little bit. So this is just an example of Mount Horeb. These are the first ones in Mount Horeb. That's a yield sign, dead end, street signs on top, and the one above is the same thing. Oh, that's just the other direction. You can just scroll down. There it's so what they do in Mount Horeb and in Verona is along their major roads, they use 9-inch street signs, which is what those are, whereas when they go back in their residential, they switch down to 6s because it's slower traffic and it's just cost saving measure. But out on their major roads, they use 9s. On their residentials, they use 6s. It's just what I found. It's just another example of pole. Now this was an interesting corner because this was a stop sign, and if you go up, I'll show you the other side. No, I mean down, sorry. The other sign is a dead end sign on the back of the stop sign. So you completely remove another pole there by doing that. And after talking with Seth about this a little bit, he told me that because on the back of the stop sign, that dead end sign has to be the same shape as the stop sign, because the stop sign always has to maintain its same shape, and you can't put a different sign on the back. You got that, yeah, the shape. So that's why they have a dead end sign that's the same shape as the stop sign on the back, so that the stop sign retains its shape. Which I was like, I taken that picture and I was like, well, geez, I found an example where they're doing that in Mount Horeb. So if you keep pulling down, it's just other things. That is another one. That's one. Here in Mount Horeb, they even get so aggressive. They start putting stop signs on light poles. They don't even put poles up there. That's how aggressive they got with that corner. If you look back at the back, they have a stop sign mounted to those street light poles.
Oh.
I don't know. See, I didn't do that much. I imagine the village does.
Well, we own a lot of ours.
Right. But I found,
I've seen Madison do that.
yeah, I found that interesting that that was even the case there. You want to keep. So now it's in Verona. They're doing the same thing there. Stop sign that, stop sign that. Those are all 6 inches, 6 inches there again. Stop sign mounted to a pole. This was the one that blew me, where they put the street signs and the stop sign on the light pole.
Yeah, Madison does that.
Right. Okay. Well, it was just interesting. This was the example in Verona that was different than their main street, where they actually put the 9-inch sign for the road as you're coming down to see what it is, but the road you're on, they left as a 6-inch on top.
Oh.
I found
Well,
that
that's
very
what they
interesting.
have. Well, because you're on your road,
Right.
so you know,
You're
right?
trying to see what you're going. You know what road you're on, but you're trying to find the crossroad. And this was a major, like, it's a neighborhood on both sides. It's a collector road. But I found that interesting as well. That I was like, wow, okay, the road you're looking for is going to be bigger than the one you're on. And on the one you're on, they went to 6. I'm like, I guess they're really saving the $30 or $40, or whatever it is. And then again, just stop, street sign mounted on other end. It's just the continue. But one of the, huh? What I didn't discuss though in the report, because I started thinking about later, was that both in Mount Horeb and Verona, they use round poles. I found they both use, rather than we use the square ones with all the holes in them, all of their poles were round pipe-like things. And that, I had a hard time trying to come up with the cost. They're definitely cheaper, but by how much, I don't know.
They're cheaper.
Yeah, they were, but it's tough. The one website, see where Jerry buys his stuff from Tapco, they don't have any of their prices on the website. You have to like request a quote. So there was this other website that I was able to find where they actually have their prices out there, but they look to be more expensive than Tapco, so it was kind of tough to actually figure out what they. This was just something after I did this, I thought of. I was like, holy crap, they were all round, because it basically came from, I was talking to this about somebody, and I told them that a pole to hold up street signs cost $250, and their response was for a piece of pipe. And then I went, holy crap, that's what Verona and Mount Horeb are basically using, a piece of pipe or an aluminum round pole. They, no, that's why I went back in some of my pictures on the back. So I took a picture of the back of one of them, and yeah, they are like, yeah, it's that one there. See how, oh, this was for this, how they, right. But when they do, I don't know if I have a back, but they were, when I was out there, they do have, they're basically brackets that are on the back that hold them to it. And it also was interesting because when you have the round pole, like if you have a square pole and you put it on, you're limited just to that one face front to put the sign on, whereas if it's round, everything can be angled to where however you want it. Whereas when it's a square, you don't get rotation of the sign on the pole. It was just something that came up. You're able to move things. Right. Right. Whereas with a round piece, because then some of the street signs weren't exactly face flush, they would be angled in a little bit, and you would have different, then you could get different angling for how the road went, how you wanted to angle your street signs. So that was like a possible other area of exploration, whether or not it's how much of a savings the pipe is. Because I did see a sign that had like the rectangular with the holes drilled in Mount Horeb, and it was a sign that was like for a road crossing, like how it has the beacons, and then it had like the sign, like this is where crossing, and it has the button for the. I didn't put it in there, but like it was one of these metal ones with the drill things, and that's what they used there because they had like a million things attached to it. Like I mean, button and flashers and sign and other sign. I mean, this thing was holding up a bunch of stuff, and I was like, okay, well, this is where they use not round, but that was on a. That was actually, I think, on the like I think that was where 78 went through, and so I think that's where the the state controlled the road is why I think they use it, but that's also the only road in Mount Ford that I found where their stop signs and street signs were on different poles. And I think it's because the state had control of it. That was the only place I could find where they were different. And after Bobby told me about that county thing, I was like, oh, I think it's because of the or a state highway, and the old ones were round. The ones that are, yeah, they still exist. The only way I've only seen it once, and it's when they were redoing Brewery, and I don't have a picture of it, is that they were special. It's not just the pipe down there. I don't know if the piece it was in when it was initially done was inserted, but it was some sort of metal base that was, and I'm not sure what these metal bases look like either, the ones that they buy, but this was a metal base that kind of flared out and was a little curvy, and the pipe was on that or in that. So they put some base in that would give it some stability, and then that piece went in. So I don't know like what.
Similar when you do a full time, you count it in squares.
Yeah, see.
Stable, and you can pull in that.
Yeah. I just because when they were redoing that road, one of those was out and lying on the ground. I was like, oh, this is what's at the bottom of these.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they drill, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the metal one, I think they hammer that stuff in, sets in, and put that. I mean, I'm sure it's.
Yeah, I don't know if there's. I know like when they put those in the metal ones. Sometimes you'll see like the hole be there, and then I think they put the base, and then you'll see gravel. Like they pull the rest of the gravel, so they the gravel down. So I don't know if there's a flanging or whatever. I've never seen the bottom of one of those out. One of those. These are just ideas that like I can't apply.
Well,
I don't. I don't know.
Well,
what are you guys thinking? I mean, with what I'm presenting, I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, my thought is we definitely need that's the goal. I think we need to get that style. The size of size. Right. Well, I guess, obviously, the first one would say, well, and I don't know, I don't have an idea. At one time, they were going on. I haven't heard that for a long time. I don't know how many. Now.
Oh yeah, I don't.
Well, I would hate, I think we need to let Jerry. I don't know if that street project is. I thought it was just first. But
Where's he? What was he
we're
doing?
doing,
He's doing Lewis Street, American Legion, and Lewis.
yeah, I think we should ask Jerry minimum wants to come. Seems like it makes sense to us. Is there a reason that we're not seeing? You know, I think we gotta do, I hate to ambush people like this. Right?
Right.
It's gotta be before. Now, he may say, I'll just write something up. It may be real simple, where he says, I don't feel, I just replaced pole. It was on a pole, I put it that way, I didn't wanna make the decision of moving it somewhere. It could be something that simple.
Right.
And then you won't even get it.
A lot of times.
Yeah, so I think we just need to give him that opportunity. If he wants to come here, that's fine. If he just wants to send out a memo, that's fine too, and then we can make action from there. Does that sound like a pretty good plan? All right. We'll do that, then we'll just put this back on the agenda.
Okay.
Unless you got real strong, I'm with Ken. You know, to me, you're right, but it's a one-time shot, and how many signs do we really replace? The bigger the sign, the better, because seconds matter. And if someone doesn't see it and they drive by and they gotta turn around and come back, and at night when you're driving, signs are much harder to see, especially when you don't know where they're actually located. So, like I said, I think ours are pretty visible with the, I like the green and white, that shows up really good. But, like I said, I'm with, if there isn't thousands of dollars to save, why do it? I would like the next meeting, we're gonna put the meeting and have custody. Right, no, that's good.
Yeah, I couldn't get when I was doing that other. I know on the other website, which was in that write-up, there was definitely a small savings or some savings between 60s and 90s.
Right. I think
Well-
if you're shifting to the stop sign, then you might, you gotta take the pole. Wow, but you shouldn't do the work if you don't need the pole. Well, I should, yes. Yeah, that's kind of the question too, is we envision you can 100 poles, we need 100 poles, to identify which ones we can eliminate. I don't really want to send it out to do work. Right, and then have it sit, where I agree with you there, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Those are 9-inch. Those,
I was saying, from here, mine, like,
no, those are the metal square ones.
I would, no,
You
I
would
think
do-
they have a cap that you take that and put it on top of it. There's a holder.
Yeah, it. Oh, I wouldn't think so.
Well, I think the pole you can disconnect. I don't know if you can get, the base out. It might be just the pole that you get, but I.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's a bolt that's holding that pole into that base piece, so I don't know I don't know how it was installed or how you uninstall it, but
But you're gonna have to, it probably doesn't matter, because stop sign of the pole, so you're probably gonna have to keep the stop sign off no matter what. So you probably got to stop sign off,
As long as it's still in the right spot.
Yeah.
I mean, the ideal is, everybody's got to, what's important is everybody's got to see that stop. You can't angle it, you know?
Well, it needs to be- Go ahead. I think we're looking for, that's important, the stop sign blocking the sign.
well, yeah, yeah.
You know, the way
Right.
it's on, yeah, set up.
Yeah, we just have to play around with it. Get more detail. I think we have a good plan.
Okay, she want me to send something to Jerry.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I guess we're really focusing on the pole more than anything. That's what should be focused on.
Okay.
Pole and pole placement. Why we use that setup versus, you know. Well,
9 versus 6.
yeah, well, no, I think we all kind of want to. Yeah, I'm talking about the pole, yeah, the pole, I'm just talking pole, I think the sign, the actual street sign, I think it seems like most people think. Well, he has, I mean, we're 30 bucks or something different.
Yeah, it just depends on, basically it depends on how long you start to get. Longer signs start to cost a lot more. Like, yeah, like, so the one website that I went to where I was able to actually like, it was trafficsign.com. They actually kind of gave me some numbers on there. And like Park Street, that's 7 letters long. When you had a 6-inch sign, it was, and these are higher than what Tapco inside of the thing. So that's where I'm like, I don't know. But on their website, the Park Street being 7 letters was 77 bucks. The 9-inch sign was $105. So that's like $30 more for the sign to move it up. But then when you go like to an 18-letter sign, which is like American Legion Drive, it goes from $95 to $155. So it goes up $60 for the 9-inch sign. And if you go, they've replaced down by American Legion, like there's a few of those that are 9-inch. And I'll tell you one thing, that sign is gigantic. American Legion, it is like humongous in terms of how it's size of being a 9-inch sign with 18 letters on it. So that's just that cost differential.
Yeah, but I can tell you, most people are having a hard like I say, we can do that, but if we're even talking that, it definitely has to go. Because that's clearly the ideal set. It's not for tourists or people finding their house. It's for emergency services. And Amazon.
Well, I'll ask, I'll see if he can get a Tapco quote for that. The polls. Do you want me to see if I can get a round versus square analysis? We kind of wanted to see that if he's gonna call him and be like, what does a round versus square? I looked at these other communities, that's what they use. What is it costing? Well, yeah, but
Right, that, we just want his input.
I'll ask the question.
Yeah.
Half the price for a little bit of.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Yeah,
People really signed the contract with the company.
I just wanna, I'll play the other side of it. I don't wanna go off the contract where like our village attorney, our planner, our engineer, they've been with us, all this historical knowledge and stuff. So state law doesn't require going to bid for services. It does require for construction, and hard asset purchases. So you wanna keep that flexibility. I don't want a policy that says we have to, because now we're talking, and I'm looking at the garbage one that we did. We got a hell of a deal when we agreed to go to canister versus bag. We got an excellent deal for 7 years. So, you know what I mean? I hear what you're saying, and now it's required, and I'll have to do it again then. Every which is an ordinance every year, the village president has to basically services, and then they have to. Yeah, I didn't know that until I was reading that. So there is that mechanism that it has to be approved by the board to allow it to go. Okay, but I think it's good business practice, just like, mowing contract went way up. The one into the next year, we put it back up, yeah. Now it looks like we will do the same price for 5 years, similar to that. So we're definitely, I'm not putting it else to bed, why not grab it when you can, right? So we need that flexibility with services, but that's something like filling or checking fire extinguishers. That to me, you know, if you really need a historical perspective, I mean, that's something that could probably change every year and won't make a big difference. So I think there is room for us to look at that and question. This is something that we should think about going on with. Depending on where we come with the budget, I have talked to the people that I was going to meet with them and set budget limit that there were emergencies that we would spend more. Because right now it's kind of on demand, it's time and material.
What are you talking about?
So like, I'll just give like the village attorney.
Okay.
Let's say we agree that 200,000 is what we want budget for the village attorney.
Mhm.
So come November 10th, we're at 200,000. If we want him to review an ordinance, but it can wait till January, it would wait. If we get that. If it's an emergency, we would still. And this is just my idea of trying to get some control on that, because we're getting so close to the levy limit.
Right.
I don't want to hop over that. So, you know, that's where a lot of places like, you know, Madison Police Department, we have it, and you can almost count on it like October 25th. All right, we're cutting this down. We can't use this service. It was New World. That's what we had first, unless there was an emergency. So if you're thinking of a new program to track this, it's got to wait for it. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. So we'll see how that that would kind of talk to him. Trying to look at the services like that.
So are you talking about services, or were you talking about the fire extinguisher also? Right. Right. Or consolidate even.
And like I said, if that's the case, that is something that should get out there, and we should seriously think about something like this. Or at least make a phone call to get them. I don't know if you have to, because that's pretty small enough. But if you were working with it, but you could call 3 different companies that serve the fire extinguishers and say, what would it cost? Right. Right, right, no, yeah. So that's what we talk about, is a lot of small.
Right. So how do we remedy that though? What is the solution? Say for this fire extinguisher thing, I mean, we've had
Well, that's a good
staff
question.
get together and have, I mean, how many fire extinguishers are at the water treatment plant? You know, like, can all this stuff just get lumped under one giant thing with somebody? And
I think you also have to answer what it is trying to do.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's up to them if you get something else.
There's a number of them.
so what happened? Like,
Well, right now, it's kind of department head. Yeah. It's, right now, kind of department head run the smaller services. Right, so, you know, if, Elizabeth thought, oh man, this seems too much. You know, we should go look around, and see what the market is. You know, that was her choice. Otherwise, I think they really like the service that they're getting. And so, put that in. So it,
I think it's similar to our old work concept where go every month. Like, clean that building. Like, you never see it.
but see, to me, that's more for department heads.
Right, but like, is there a way to combine that with this village building and get a scale? The cleaning of this-
Oh, no.
See, that's like what I think Tim's getting at is that we'll have all these
You can't make policy because of the other thing, so it has to be a case by case basis.
We could add it there that, hey, department head should communicate and try to work together to get, you know, however you want to word it, I mean, you could do that, but like I say, it's very complicated when it comes to it. Because especially with the library, it's kind of its own entity.
Or, I mean, yeah, I mean, it has its own board, but like in terms of its cleaning service, it's still, and, you know.
I know, but we couldn't tell the library, let's go in together. We could ask them to do it,
I understand.
you know.
Our current company will do.
Right, if we build a new building, could them and the library do the same thing, and then we get an economy of scale?
Yeah, we
Cleaning
could.
service
I mean,
there,
that is definitely
you know?
something to look at.
I remember the backside of that. Hey, cost a lot, so, you know, I mean, it's, you can't regulate.
Our guys does that.
Oh, yeah. All right. Is that, are you good with that then?
I think it's a great discussion.
Yeah. And I can certainly bring, we can certainly bring that up. Part of that.
look at where we could both work together. With the same-
So I know Tim's talking about the fire sensors. Did anything ever happen with that at all with them, or like what was decided, or?
I understand we're already into the contract.
When the contract was signed, so that's what it was supposed to be.
This is at the library. Okay, but weren't there other village ones that you were concerned about also, or no? Or was that the only?
That one was, extremely high. Well,
All right.
the contract was already placed, and that's what it was. It was already-
So does she know when that contract, or how long is that contract?
All right, let's go to number 5, discussion and possible action regarding solar certificate. So here's, brought to the board. Who have them?
Elizabeth wrote.
That came from, they have a separate management team. Okay, and, so what we have right here is currently in the handbook is employees can get, accumulate, 1,440. When they retire, that is converted to a. So it takes about, if you don't use any sick time, it takes about 13 years. We really have employees that for, so they maxed out at the one. So what they're asking for is to continue to accumulate, but they would only be able to. That's what they're kind of asking for. So there's obviously a lot of things on that. So it's referred here for us to do kind of looking at cost analysis. Cost. And there's obviously on board different views, how you view that. His view is probably good. It's not really supposed to be so it's how you do it. Staff looks at it. How does it work? Well, that's kind of, you can speak, I guess, for the employees.
Yeah.
Take all.
One month. So, Yeah, they can.
I'm just asking the question.
No,
I know that they should.
Call it.
Well, because I mean, I understand the law, that if I'm calling sick, then I'm losing something and probably there, so that's it for me.
Well, in the public sector, unless they've gone to, a style, there could be discipline. From the National Police Department, I don't know, if the village has got, but we actually would run. Then through the process. And it starts at, hey, we've noticed that it's cleaning up to the point where it doesn't need doctor's excuse after this. Then after that, it goes into discipline. That's how kind of that. So we, in the public sector, they don't see it as
Not a complicated, kind of a picture.
right. Now, I know, like, my sons, a lot of their companies, they just throw them all in, the patients there.
Right, it's just
It's
one,
one big-
it's one bucket, yeah.
Yeah,
You need to separate.
that's what you have? That's what we have. Yeah, so, yeah, so so that's, I think that's where the view, I clearly see, you know, Michael, you wanna, you can cover the.
I think you covered it. I mean, it's just how we wish to perceive it. It's for like what Jay was saying, is this, even though someone's maxed out, you know, are they losing that benefit? Well, they still have their sick leave benefit. They just aren't accruing anymore. That's the whole question. If you want to allow accrual or not to happen once you max out. And this is the maximum. Once they max out at this, they can get turned into, from reading it, village health insurance, or basically when they retire, they get 1,440 hours at their hourly rate of money that the village will continue to pay their health insurance on. And then I believe, because she sent me the employee manual, once they are able to go on Medicare, then the remaining balance can be put into it can get shifted somewhere.
You still pay, I thought for the supplemental.
Oh yeah, it can go for the supplemental.
Yeah.
Oh, it was,
Yeah,
okay,
so there's still a cost, it goes down, but you still, yeah,
right.
It's still to the state.
right.
We still pay. They don't pay for it, whatever.
And I had,
Oh,
so,
oh.
for Gina and I, we're both on Medicare, it's still.
Okay.
Plus the 170 for the 40. So it's, there's still, you're not getting away free, there's still a pretty good cost.
Okay, well, so it's just the whole entire question of, do we allow them to bank above 1440? I mean, do we think they're losing the benefit if they aren't accruing? That's the question.
So,
That's- Yeah, they're,
that bill cover that you do more than 1440. They don't lose it at the end of that. Now,
right. They, right.
Well, I think there's gotta be a cap. Because here's where I come in. I agree with you, Richard, but if someone ends up accruing, let's say they're here 36 years, and now they have 4,000 hours, and all of a sudden, court ruling saying that six, you know, you gotta pay that, we're in the hole for that. You know, so it can't be unlimited. I have no problem having, which we talked about many times when this came up, about having like this emergency fund. It's well defined where it can be used. I don't have to give some extra protection, but I can't say we're unlimited and, you know, people come sick and everything to work, so they keep building it, and building it. You know, there's gotta be a limit.
It's gonna be a line. Happens that here's something, three people, comes off the station. You have to have a reason.
Right, and so I don't know if you can do that. Because sick leave, I think when you look at the federal standard, people can use sick leave and they can use it for family leave. They can use it for all kinds of things. Yeah, I don't think we can, I don't know, I'm just guessing. I don't know if you can separate and force someone to use one type of sick leave versus the other. Now, what was talked about the very first time this was that it goes into a separate account, no one owns it. And it's a separate emergency type thing. I think you may be able to get away with that because people are giving up the ownership and they're earning it, but the village is keeping it in a separate bank for, you know what I mean, where you could probably put some restriction. I just don't, we definitely have to get, if we think this is something we want to move forward, we clearly gotta get an expert in HR.
I thought the county.
So it wasn't, we weren't eligible for family leave with that,
No, that's all I did.
but even that extra?
No. That's why we're going to.
Yeah.
With the extra.
The thing is, what they're asking for is to be paid for the day, if they don't wanna lose it. If you don't use it, if it converts to a vacation day, well, you're still getting, I mean, you stop that.
Yeah, we're not gonna hear where they can't use up all, because that'd be 12 more vacation days. Some of these weeks. Yeah. That's the, I mean, it's a great idea. If it was a younger person that was doing it, but the problem is you got these seniors, these are people with 15 years or more, so they're already got so much vacation that it's hard for them to burn it all up and add another 12 days. And then we have the same thing where you can carry 40 over, but you lose it.
I was on that. Same thing. People who are responsible, employees, no way out. Yeah, so it's no end. Companies, they have 40 hours of time there.
Right. I 100%.
And then also the question for me is, if we're constantly banking so many days. Part of the contract. I don't think with the answer to that, listening for the first time, it's like, you should be able to, if you're sick, you're not come to work, but if you know you can bank those days, and I can come to work with a cold or the flu, and potentially get my work made sick, but because I want to save that and bank that, I'm gonna take that.
No,
Right.
you are
Right.
dead on that.
You
That's
are.
exactly one of my concerns with that is you're right. When it becomes that monetary benefit, yes, there's an incentive to come to work sick when you really shouldn't, because you don't want to use it because there's a dollar value where if it's seen as this is a benefit, I'm sick, I'm using it. And that's what happens when, and don't get me wrong, I'm not against it, but when you incentive building that, then there's less likelihood that people will.
There's only carry over 100 weeks old. We're getting
$96.
Don't use that. Here's 96. Use that.
Yeah. And like I said,
No, 15 years, so me, 15 years, it's 40. Now,
yeah, see, that's getting a little bit more reasonable.
because you're not incenting.
Yeah.
Veteran employees. Shop.
Yeah.
And it's sick. They have more. Then.
Because realistic. So let's just do the numbers. So if you did half, that would be 6 days. Let's say, first you say another 15 years to get 30. You're talking about 60. Yeah.
But that's also saying. Still have a gap of 40 days.
No, hey, listen, I clearly understand the position that the employees are looking at. They want to save that money because that's a huge retirement benefit. So I have no problem understanding that aspect of it, right? I'm just looking at what is a reasonable side on this side. And I just can't say, unlimited, because you never know when laws change and between courts and everything else, that all of a sudden we could be in a world of hurt.
So it takes 1440 or whatever. 40. What's 100%? 100% of the premium.
Yeah, they don't get it at the discount rate, they pay 100%. So they pay the full premium. The only difference is we're taking it out of their family. It's not coming out of the system. Well, I don't want to get into the deep, because I don't know how they do it tax-free, because the city ships it all to, medical annuity. Yeah, a third party vendor, and they basically.
We only have a handful.
Yeah. No, but I put blind, because I'm the same way. When it goes to that third party, that's why you don't pay taxes on it, because you don't control it, and medical costs are acceptable write-off, so.
So like,
Oh, you don't, it doesn't go to the spouse?
so the
No.
another example. Is insurance. Doesn't work exactly.
You don't get the 15 out in any case, right?
I offered it,
Oh,
you can just pay us. Yes, I do. It's a difference.
I would just say people over 15 years, that could be, I'll bet you get 6, 7.
If you don't take a single vacation or 6 days, for 15 years, you're gonna have that.
I thought it was 12 and a half. Did you think that?
So 180 divided by 12. Days, 12 months, right? So it's 12
You get 12 a year, so 96 hours, divide
I
one,
think-
divide 1,440 by 96. That's what you want to do. Yeah, yeah, right. So it's 15 years. Yeah.
The way I was looking at it.
No, I
You
think
know, like,
that's a legitimate. What is the future? And you're right, with people moving, these younger people moving job to job, it's probably less and less likely to get it.
I don't, I think. if I'm not sure, that we can have
Yeah, yeah, I like to actually go past to a real clean one. No, we cap it, and we gotta make, and that's the other thing, we gotta make it very, very clear that this is it, because you know the next thing will be, let's move it up for cashing in. I mean, that's just a legitimate next step. All right, I've done a lot of negotiations, and that's when right, you get your foot in the door, and then you just keep opening it more. One thousand forty.
Yeah.
440. Madison's at 1,200. Even our police officers right now. For 1,040. What do you do? Are you comfortable with people capping out at 25 years? So when you do 60 hours, you could make it at 23, 20. That's, I mean, you do a max, you gotta have some reason to it. Oh, you. No.
Just basically, we're talking about.
Right.
It just gets rolled, if we're gonna pay a $10,000 insurance premium, it just comes out of the current year's budget, doesn't it? The next year's budget, isn't that in the budget? I mean, it's,
What I'm saying is, if it's sick time benefit, you don't pay it at that time, you keep that.
we don't. I don't believe that there is a
Like
pool
right
where
now,
we keep
everybody
it.
has a balance, there's no money.
There's no
attached to
pool, yeah, all that sick time, there isn't a pool that equates to all that sick time that's been.
that. Yeah, it's not a funded benefit.
Yeah. So, Yeah, it's,
So we figure out how many people we think are gonna need tires, what the. And we try to put that into work. I think some people maybe go 3-4 years. Yeah. So, you know, it's not a. I guess. That's when people ask. No, but let me just ask this. Does anybody here think it should be unlimited? All right, so that's at least the starting point, right? And I think the board is kind of in that same ballpark. So I think you're right. You can send it back to them to kind of say, okay, there's some good ideas here that was thrown out, you know, 50% or, you know, capping it at a higher level. I think there's something there, and I guess it'd be interesting. Bring it back and see what they say. Yeah. Right. Oh,
Yeah, that's why I was reading, that's why you said something about Medicare, I read this today. But I think it says that their leftover balance can be used to pay a Medicare supplemental plan. Yeah, you get to use it to pay for the supplemental plan.
yeah, that should be cleaned up. From my understanding, you just keep paying until the money. And most people, even if they don't take a supplement, or they go to a C, plan C, you know, advanced plan, even Medicare is still, I want to say I pay $174 a month. Yeah, because for family. Just for plan C, yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, and he came to the February meeting. Because from there, went to the Department of. Yeah, no, that's it, so, it's definitely out there, because we have some. Yeah, I don't think they've made any complaints on it. I don't remember that.
Yeah. Because we didn't have a backup for him.
Oh, now I do remember that. Well, you know, again, I don't know, for example, me, you know, at 6 months, we've had it, we looked at balances, we told people, we need to start taking. Yeah. Yeah, that one, I remember, that's a little different because, that should help something, now we have a backup. But just to tell you the other thing, when, electricity went out, somehow they get notified and people get, the pump or something, the water or something happened, that people were kind of pissed that, what was it?
Yeah.
Remember that? Because he needed to come in and reset the, whatever it is to do it, so something didn't happen and, oh, we had some backup. We had sewer backup because the pump wasn't. So,
And I get all of it, usually it comes back to here and might be paid out.
yeah,
That's what I mean.
yeah. Yeah, like I say, I do remember that now, it sounded legitimate. You know, and again, you know, you gotta also be flexible enough to make exceptions, right? I mean, beyond his control or something like that, you know, we have to do it. I would imagine in 2018, after the flooding, might have been a problem with everybody getting up, because we needed everybody here. Yeah, I kind of remember something like that. You know, we gotta have that flexibility.
Yes, we can, we talk about that and this, and we can, let's consider, I'm not saying.
Yeah.
At some point we have to do, everyone can consider that. To the point it's going to be more.
No, I hear you. No, and that's why we brought it here. I don't think the board was that interested, but I think it's another view of it. And like I said, well, but you get it, where you make it is you're saving your sick time, so you have that. See, like right now, someone had 1,040, if all of a sudden they have to go, they get, let's say, COVID or something, they're out of it. So they gotta burn 5 days, so they're not at, you know, 1,440, they're looking to retire, they've lost 5 days of, you know, money that they could put towards it. That's where they're coming from. Like, they're trying to bank something where they can preserve once they reach that 1,440. And I understand that concept. It's right. It's money in the bank to pay for your insurance when you retire. You don't want to use it. Right?
So it's been about 25 years since I've done it.
We do.
Long.
So
Yeah.
there's no sort
But a lot of those require you to go to the city. A lot of insurance.
that's my common law that there.
Yeah,
Should they have something that they
to protect that.
want to protect the other?
Yeah. All righty, well, that's good. Any future agenda items for anybody? All right, do I have a motion to adjourn? All right, do I have a second? All right, I have a motion and a second. All to adjourn, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say, thank you. Good.
That's how long.